What's up, everybody? Man, it's been a long 5 months for the Walking Dead family and community. As you can see, I'm not doing this by myself. Today is a really special day because we just finally got to see the finale of the Walking Dead season 10. It's not airing until October 4th. So we're a little bit over a couple of weeks before it actually releases. And I got to tell you, all real emotions and feels. This is probably one of my favorite episodes, and it was absolutely worth the wait. I got my boy Julian of Alternate Minds here, and if you have not seen his face, then you cannot be a Walking Dead fan, because when it comes to coverage, as far as reviews, interviews, news, rumors, whatever it is, this guy knows it. He's on his game. There's no way I was talking about this episode without my boy. So, Julian, what's up, man?
I'm good, and I got to put a little disclaimer. Not once have I ever spoiled anything for anyone, or else I get blacklisted.
Yes. No one here is so in that we can just say whatever we want. But yeah, you know, when it's just journalism and being a critic, you know, we're allowed to we abide by two embargoes, shall I say? There's obviously the hard review. And then there's reactions. Typically, AMC is pretty cool with reactions. So we know something, we can react to it. But as far as the nitty-gritty details, those things will get you on the blackball list and you won't be getting anything. So as you can see, we're in the good here.
And, Dude, can I first say that I'm glad Connie got out of the damn cave? Like, I'm really glad, even though we had to find out about 40 minutes into the episode.
It's been a great episode. Before we actually get into the details of it, obviously, the finale, episode 16, was on delay. The last episode was April something, and because of COVID, and the big issue was, well, how, why, and details came out about the special effects having to be done. Now, I'm gonna be the first to say that The Walking Dead, as far as having a television production budget, their effects has been okay. Some good, some better than the others, some meh. This right here, for 5 months wait, or however long it took them additionally, was every bit worth it. This was some of the best special effects that I think they've done, specifically with the Herd, in a very, very long time. So for every bit of that wait,
agree.
Every bit of it, every bit of the way, it was absolutely worth it. So hats off to the team getting back in the lab and getting this done, because like this was really, really well done. And as we know, this episode was about the Whisper of War, the conclusion of it, which means that, you know, Walking Dead, it's been a while since they used practical people for Herd. So a lot of special effects within that. So, you know, there had to be a lot of special effects with that. And it was just done really well, like really, really, really well. And numerous times through this episode, I was like, you know what? Definitely nailing it. Not once did I feel like it was wonky to me.
Dude, I think it nailed it the most when it was at the cliff with Carol and Lydia when the walkers started falling in. That was also the same scene on another comic issue, but I'll bring that up in a second. But the effects of that, boy, my God, this was so freaking amazing to look at. And I was talking with the social media guy, Johnny Odell, who runs social media. We've been back and forth for like the last few years. Said he's seen this episode and he finally seen the finished product. This episode was 80% different than what he saw in the rough cut.
Whoa, that's interesting.
Yes,
so
80% different. That tells you how much they went in for the post-production for this.
That's interesting, and that's not so common that you see a rework. I mean, they had the time, but they wasn't obviously sitting on their hands. So that's interesting. I would almost really be interested in seeing the other cut. I know a lot of people will pretty be down about that, but I would definitely love to see the before and after.
I don't think we're never gonna see it. Only the powers that be can see it.
Yeah.
Don't mind me. I'm just looking for the specific issue. Oh, I got it right here, actually. Let me make sure first before I look. But go ahead.
So I talked enough. I want to know, what's your reactions this whole day? Walk me through your day, buddy.
Walk me through my day. Well, today is Andrew Lincoln's birthday. Happy birthday to Andrew Lincoln. So I posted something about that. Then around I think it was 2:30 or 2:45, I got the screener. Then I watched it and I was like, freaking finally this is here. I'm glad to watch this now and sit down and digest every single bit of not only my notes.
Yeah,
nobody don't see that.
Hey, look, it was like rewinding.
They can rewind it when they can't come that far.
Yeah, right.
Gathering my notes, trying to digest every single scene, and after it, I was like, I'm looking forward to the next season because of what happens in the end, which is practically the same thing that happened at the end of issue 173 when Eugene and the others were stopped in the road by the Commonwealth soldiers. And can I also say that they went completely out of their way to make them look like Commonwealth soldiers?
It's the one thing. So for me, my love for the comics is because I feel like when it comes down to the creation and the vision, they have more thorough time to really bring it and sketch it the way they want to. And then, you know, sometimes with budgets and actors or actresses, casting, whatever it may be, you don't get really a one-to-one. What I mean by that is like a person looks directly how they looked in the comics or the design or whatever it may be. I mean, they nailed it with Princess, obviously, but like the Commonwealth, you can tell again, they dug deep in the bag and they said, get this A1. I guess I didn't see that coming. I knew we were getting them, but I did not think the costumes were going to be that crisp. Like I text you, that might have to be our cosplay whenever we get back to that life. Because like they were on point, dude. They were on point. I was digging it all the way.
Let me go back to that scene we was talking about when they was walking off the cliff. This was the scene in the comic.
Yeah.
This was from issue 165.
Yeah.
And frankly, the name of this episode is A Certain Doom, which is the same name of the volume this issue was from.
Oh, okay.
Yes, volume 28, A Certain Doom.
Yeah, right. For some odd reason, I just kept saying A Certain Death in my head. It's A Certain Doom is the name of this episode. With that being said, going into the beginning of this episode, Gabriel giving this monologue, I thought completely sat me down and made me put my seatbelt on, because from how powerful the speech was, the purpose of the speech, the theme of this episode being revolved around the speech, and then getting the glimpses of people all coming together. I mean, I know I'm gonna get ridiculed for this, and I know somebody's gonna get the axe ready, but that felt almost as powerful as when Cap said Avengers Assemble, because it was just a combination of everybody coming together, and it was like everybody knew. Like I can't tell you, when Maggie read Carol's letter, I had cold goosebumps. I almost lost it because I was just like, that was, first of all, you know, we were there when Maggie and when Lauren, you know, was announced to return New York Comic Con, and that feeling, that pop, that excitement. And you know, like we've been anticipating it. It absolutely did. And so this moment, even though we've seen the trailer and all the other stuff, the extended clips, just her being back and how game face she was is almost exactly what Lauren Face was like upon coming back on that stage, where she was just like, I'm back with a purpose and I got a job to do for the fans. And it was like, for her, it was like her reading that letter was like, I'm back. She got the whole play. She knew everything that was happening, and she was locked in. I had straight goosebumps. I was like,
felt like I don't care. Never even left to begin with.
100%. I didn't care if she did nothing else that episode. That's all I need. I was like, that's how you do it. That's how you bring somebody back, and you give the fans what they want, and in a really like cold and majestic way. Like she was just ready to go. I'm trying to tell you, that opening monologue with those scenes were just. It was a good episode going into it, dude. Just
along with that soldier that was with her with the two freaking wielding scythes. I wonder who that is. That person didn't even unmask in the episode.
I know that is the biggest. I guess that's the biggest mystery thus far. All I know is that I'm describing him as a one-man wrecking machine because he played no games. Like let's be honest. Like Michonne was definitely that, but like he was so swift, no one came within distance, and it was almost like a care package on a video game. It's just like he came in, you was like, yo, that's 6 kills right there, baby.
Exactly. Oh boy! So can we get to the start of the point where they walked out of the hospital when the walkers was coming in, and the next thing you know, everybody was not social distance whatsoever, and they started. Sorry, we're in the COVID era, so I have to say, even though they filmed it last year,
there was a few masks out there, but it wasn't a lot of social distancing. But yes, to your point.
So it was going through the herd because they had to go to the other side to get the part of the caravan for the horse.
Yep.
It was going through that, and then during the episode, Beatrice and the other person was killed in the episode in brutal fashion. My God, can I also say that Greg Nicotero did amazing with the makeup on this episode?
Oh yeah,
with the blood and the way the walkers just took off the body parts.
Yeah, the decapitation, and it's some of the best work I've seen. Like that's I know that's not going to get a lot of emphasis, but like you're absolutely right. Beatrice's death there was amazing. You know, like you said, the limbs being torn apart, the digging inside the guts, like it was well done. It was well done.
A few of the Whisperers also got it too, and they got taken down by arrows.
Yeah. I like that plan, by the way. I didn't see that exactly coming that way, but that was pretty cool. I mean, I described that scene as chess because there was a plan, there was a move, and then there was a move, and then the arrows became the next move. Then Beta said, all right, let's switch up the pattern here. And it worked effectively visually that the arrows couldn't work. And it also allowed them to get into close proxy to get the other arrows. So like it was literally war tactics there. And I thought that was really well done because, you know, it's been a while since we've seen like more of a traditional style of war. And this episode was based around war. And it wasn't just like a attack and then whatever. Like this was the chess moving pieces. So like I said, it had me on the edge of my seat because things were changing so quick. It wasn't like a traditional style of a herd attack. So like you said, when they went into there, along with the costume and makeup design, which was so well done, I was literally at a point where I was just like, I have no clue how this scene's gonna go. But it's so good. I'm ready for whatever. But like it was intense. It was one of the better intense scenes that we've seen in a while.
We haven't talked about Beta the last time we met, but what do you think of the idea of him putting on Alpha's mask as part of his own? I thought that was so metal when he did that a few episodes prior to that.
Yeah, I mean, pays homage. It shows the no fear. It shows his loyalty. It shows his respect and gratitude for Alpha. And as we've seen in probably the best death ever in Walking Dead, is that he went out like a certified G, and the first thing he thought about was Alpha in no fear. I'm sorry. I don't think there's a better way you could have wrote Alpha off at that point. And he stood straight up, and matter of fact, the cinematography for that scene was amazing with how they shot it and then the flashbacks and then that gold kind of grayscaling kind of look was just beautifully done. Like, but
I'm a little bummed. I gotta be the one to say this. I'm a little bummed of how he went out. I mean, in the comics, he kind of went out an anticlimactic way, and this way wasn't anticlimactic, but it happened so quick that it didn't give me time to think about it.
Yeah, true that. And you know, is you know, that character and how poised, I can't think of his name right now, who plays him.
Ryan Hurst.
Yes, Ryan Hurst being removed from the show. It's fitting because of, you know, us as fans' appreciation for his work on the show. It's fitting for him as a person, him as a character. But yeah, you're right. It was no way you can process it because immediately after that was probably one of the best lines of the show. Where it was like, do you know who that guy is? And he's like, well, let me make sure I read this exactly how it was said. Oh yeah, do you know who that asshole was? Yeah, nobody. I was like, damn.
Nobody. Me over here trying to dig through the issues to find the line again. But my God, that was really something. I mean, it was the same thing. The same thing happened in the comic, except it was Aaron and Jesus talking about it, and they recognized him as a former basketball player.
Yeah,
and I recognized him on the show as the former musician.
Yeah,
he had to.
I want to ask you about what part was it? So the biggest thing for me is that I felt like in an episode, you know, titled a certain doom, and it's obviously the synopsis or the plot reads about it being the final battle of the Whisper War, and typically that word war has a straight it means death. It means, sorrow, just it's a lot of negative things. But this episode was completely opposite, if you ask me, because it was beautiful. It was filled with love and it was filled with hope. Because, I said in my review, Daryl, now the voice and the leader of the crew, isn't Rick, isn't Michonne. And they were two that never thought or felt defeat. They always was just like, we got this no matter what. And Daryl speaking in a form of like, all of us aren't going to make it. And, in that tone. And then we seeing a lot of selfless people, Negan and Lydia, which was a beautiful scene. Gabriel and
I also like the Carol and Lydia scene too.
Exactly. Like what was your reactions to that aspect of it? Just like this episode just not being, I won't say as advertised, but like really a different.
I think it could have been named differently, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I expected a lot more deaths than what we got, but it was still good of what we got. But the name of it did not match the episode, in my opinion.
Yeah. So many different dynamics.
And, here's Beta's death in the comics, by the way.
The comics
here's when Jesus and Aaron was talking about him.
Yeah.
Recognizing him as a former musician. And here's the final shot right here.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, Aaron was the one who shot him. So on the show, it's different. Aaron was the one to take him down.
As a hardcore fan of both the show and of the comments, like, how do you go through emotions when you see scenes out of different issues all compiled into one episode? Like, what kind of goes through your mind in that notion?
It depends how good it flows. If it's rushed like it was in season 8, I get kind of mixed about how they use those scenes. But how they use those scenes to interpret which character gets those scenes and how it builds them, that I'm okay with. I mean, there's a lot of things they changed from the comics to the show on this season. Some of which I agree with, some I don't agree with. But a lot of it worked for this season than the last 2, in my opinion. Even though season 9 was amazing, but the last 2 from comic to show was quite different than it is on this season.
Oh yeah. So going back into a little bit of these dynamics now, really quickly, I just want to mention Lydia, one of my favorite characters this episode, one of my favorite characters this season actually. I really like how they attached this specific score with her. This score that this really. For me, I felt like the score was done in a way to really draw up the dramatics in every single scene. I mean, again, when you had the conversation with Lydia and Negan, and Negan giving her the mask, then after kind of being negated as being selfish and not wanting to be part of the team, but then going to Lydia and then kind of saying like, I'm going to go be a hero, and we just kind of see that like. That so like here's what I'll say.
Yeah,
Lydia is a reincarnation of every kid who was loved on this show, all into one. And what I mean by that is because all these adult characters at one time or another really gravitated to a kid that made them step out of their comfort zone or make them see things different. And I mean, we're talking about Carl here. We're talking about Carol and her kids, like the kids she had. And even Judith in a way, but more importantly, like when it comes down to Lydia, you see how Lydia and Judith, shall I say, really make characters confined to them. And like we've seen Big Bad Negan for all these seasons, but like when it comes to Lydia, it's like he changes his perception about everything. And where Daryl didn't make him take the next step, she did. And I just think it's so powerful how like characters like that really shape other characters. And it just provides this a really emotional content for viewers to like really be drawn into. And then you add the scoring to it, and it's just like, dude, what are you doing to me? Like, and this is earlier. This is early in the episode, and with an episode revolved around war, just like, oh, come on, y'all, like, don't do me like this, So, I just think that like Lydia did an amazing job, and the score that complemented with the character this episode was a tearjerker, and every scene that she was on killed it. And you got to, no matter what it is, character for character, whenever you're holding your own in the scene with Jeffrey Dean Morgan, you're a bad person. that's as plain and simple, because Jeffrey Dean, you know, that's a tough person to share some screen time with if you're not going to bring it. So, you know, again, it was just really powerful what they were doing together on scene. So going back to Beta and the scene with Beta versus Negan, what was like your initial reactions when you seen that coming to fold there? Again, this is after Negan said he was going to go do something heroic. Didn't know what it was going to be, but it ended up being this. What was your initial reactions to it?
We should have gotten more, damn it. These two were on the Whisperer War cover, and these two were on the cover of that volume. These two should have gotten a bigger battle than what we got on the show. Yeah. But nope, they had to save that for Daryl.
Yeah.
But the minute these two face each other, I was like, fuck yes, let's go. Finally. Then boom, Daryl comes in. I'm like, let these dudes fight, please. You know, Jeffrey also said on the San Diego Comic-Con panel that he was bummed that the Lucille breaking scene did not happen on the show. And I was bummed about that too.
Yeah. It's true. Really yeah.
It's like I said before a few minutes ago, there's a few comic to screen scenes that were not added in this war, especially the part at the beginning of the war where Beta stabbed Gabriel from when he was hanging upside down, just freaking cut his guts open. That was at the start of the war, and I thought we was going to get that in the season finale. In fact, speaking of Gabriel, nice Beta switch they caught us with. They really thought they made us think that he was going to die, but nope, here comes Maggie's bodyguard with the two spikes to take out those Whisperers.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that scene. For everything Gabriel did for this episode for me, with the monologue, with his conversation with Judith, and just, you know, from a person who typically isn't equipped with a weapon, who's typically just the voice of reason in the back. Yeah, him holding his ground and was kicking ass too. He held that shotgun, and you know, he was about to go out with a bang, and I would have been okay with that. But I gotta tell you, the one man wrecking machine, he had other plans.
Dude, it's the Walking Dead's version of Blade for that guy. Except he's only two sights.
Oh my god. Okay, let's talk about the big things here. Now, again, back to Carol on the cliff with leading the herd off of it, and her plans and leading the herd off of it. Now, here's my initial thoughts. We know that we're getting a Daryl and Carol show, so we know we're not losing them. And although we know that, I still felt a little on edge that this actually might be Carol's go, just because of how good it was shot. And
I agree with you right there.
Nothing in my heart would have made me think like, oh, she's super good. Like, no, that scene was so damn good. Two things about it. Carol, the character, has been through so much. She's lost everything. She does not have the will to live anymore. She doesn't have the will to love anymore. This was her demise. This is the way she wanted to go, and this was going to be her purpose. And I think she, as the character here, it was shot in a way where she said, I am relieved. I'm at peace with this. And what's so damn beautiful about this scene is Lydia, again, who also was given the direction of, you know, go find your own. And Carol completely avoided Lydia so many times, you know, because Carol knows anytime she adopts a kid, it doesn't go good. She knows this. And everything's just been going wrong because of the decisions she's been making. And she finally felt like she was making the right decision. Lydia saving Carol from the cliff was got to be one of the most emotional scenes in all Walking Dead without it being correlated to a death, because this wasn't a death. This was actually a rebirth of two characters here. And it's the daughter that Carol never saw coming because she completely avoided it by all means. And then with Lydia throwing off the Alpha's mask was the way of saying, hey, I forgive you. She forgives Alpha. She forgives Carol. She's ready to move forward. And that scene and them hugging, I mean, Melissa McBride, people, what can you say? What can you say? Just
you put it quite perfectly. I that was one of the best non-death scenes I've seen on the show this whole season. And you put it perfectly the way their bond was as mother-daughter figure. Because what would most daughters do if their mom was kind of over the edge? They'll go over there and save them, just like we saw on that cliff. And you brought up another good point. I love how it was shot. They really made us believe that, oh, okay, great, Carol was going to possibly jump or into falling there. But then we got the news last week that they're getting their own series, so I didn't believe shit. When I got that email last week, before the day before this whole news exploded, I was like, why do this? Why? Yeah. Why tell us that they're going to survive at the finale? I wish that could have been left off until the October episode.
I agree. And again, for anybody watching the review,
I was going to add that when Daryl and Carol was talking about New Mexico, it made me think that is where the new series is going to take place. That somehow in the next in the final season, they're either going to leave during the final season or at the final episode. That'll lead into the Daryl and Carol spinoff.
Yep. 100%. Glad you pointed that out. Cause I was just gonna say, no matter listen to review, just to let you know, even though you know the news and now you reheard the news be reiterated, you're still gonna watch that scene if you haven't watched it already and realize it's shot so well that you may tend to forget that Carol does live. She has other things to do.
That's true, though.
Yeah, so hats off to the people and getting this episode done, but the news was not right timely, and it really could have waited. It really could have no clue why I pulled the trigger or who leaked it or who got ahead of themselves, whatever it may have been, was not the way to go. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking too.
First, news when me and the others got the news. I was on the chat with Johnny Odell, Brandon Davis, and Kirsten. We was all talking about what can we do to talk about this. And then the morning came, IGN either mistakenly posted it or realized it was the wrong time, and all hell broke loose. I tried to do damage control. Everybody at AMC tried to do damage control because they was all contacting us, asking us, hey, did we posted it yet? And I was like, no, I didn't post anything. I waited until 11:30 a.m. in the morning Eastern time. So it was hell when that came on behind the scenes. It was hell.
Ah, boy. All right, you brought up Connie in the beginning of the show. Connie is alive. Virgil is here to the rescue. As Virgil is looking for his family. Me neither. That's exactly what I was gonna go at. What's your thoughts about this now? What can we expect?
Do not like this guy. Connie, watch out for him or else he'll jug you. Please watch out for this guy.
Just
my God. I like Stone's acting on her final episode, but I did not like that episode at all for the most part on Michonne's final episode.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, literally in my notes. Literally in my notes, I had Virgil to the rescue with 3 quotation marks and the exclamation points. We know that's not a thing.
No, here's what let me go back on my notes. I marked down. Oh, here's what I marked down. Here comes fucking Virgil.
What's your thoughts about Maggie seeing Judith? What was your thoughts when you saw that scene?
Loved it. I didn't think she'll recognize her, to be honest, because I don't know. I know they was passing letters back and forth, but I don't know if they was passing drawings or pictures or whatnot. So that was a very good scene to see. I'm surprised that Maggie even recognized her as soon as she seen him. But I'm also waiting for Maggie and Negan to talk because they're literally in the same area now. And now that we know that they're going to start filming within the next few weeks or so, the next 6 episodes, maybe one of those 6 could be an episode between Maggie and Negan, or not even an episode, but a scene with these two.
I also am going off on a limb here, and definitely correct me if you think I'm going way off the limb. I also think what's going to be interesting is between Maggie and Judith is Maggie's inability to to be a team player, shall I say. We've seen, you know, when she was in Hilltop and how they were really part of the crew. They wanted to do things their way and, you know, whatever. Which, you know, to me, it just showed how, I'm not going to say egotistical, but just how stern she is in her beliefs and her ways and how she want to do things. I think that her seeing Judith is going to be cute at first, but it is going to be a problem because although Judith is a kid and everybody treats her as a daughter, everyone looks eye to eye with her because they know she can hold her own. They know who her parents are, and she's just been respected on adult levels for decision making and all that. Yes. I think that's actually going to create conflict between Judith and Maggie at some point because I don't think she's going to have the will to say like, yo, that's a little kid. Like I seen her as a baby. Like I got, you know, do agreements with her and stuff. So I think it's cool for now, but I definitely think at some point there's going to be a difficult conversation between the two of them. And you know, that's a way far prediction that I got because again, I just feel like Maggie, we know how big of, I say, a powerhouse and how stern she is and how she wants to do things. Yes. And Judith is the team player who wants everybody to be on the same page with love and with like joint unity in what they do. And Maggie's already left once because she was like, hey, I'm not digging with this. So, you have to take that into consideration. So we'll see. We'll definitely see how that goes. Now, finally, the Commonwealth. I'm just going to hand it over to you now. What is the implications of the Commonwealth going forward? And again, yeah, that's they are 1-to-1 on the suits for bringing this onto to screens. They look amazing. But what can we look forward to with the Commonwealth as you kind of predicting for next season? What's your thoughts about Eugene not finding his girlfriend, but running into more than he did to fight off?
Into the princess words about him.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and that's you're a pretty horny dude.
The actress is amazing. I remember when I interviewed her months ago. She's a very cool girl.
Second favorite line of the show too.
First time I seen her was on the Wu-Tang Clan show she was on last year.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. But yeah, what's your thoughts, reactions, and predictions for the Commonwealth and what we can probably expect going into season 11?
Oof. The Commonwealth, I expect them to, just like in the combat, I expect them to be a very large city, not just a community about a few hundred people. These guys are a freaking city, not just the soldiers, but everyone who ranks them. I'm not sure how the community is going to take them. I mean, the casual viewers, because a lot of them don't read the comics, so they would think it's either get too political or too real world in a sense. And there's a few scenes during the Commonwealth storyline where police brutality happens. I want to see how that's going to be handled on the show. I wrote an article about that a few months ago because it was at the same time when the George Floyd protest was going on. I was thinking to myself, are people ready to see the kind of brutality the Commonwealth soldiers could do to people who are under them? Are everyone ready to see that and try to make those comparisons to real world? I'm also looking forward to who are they going to cast for the rest of the Commonwealth members, like Sebastian, the one who shot Rick Grimes. Wait and see who are they going to cast for Lance. Who are they going to cast for? Pamela. That's her name, Pamela. And the rest of the members, the high-ranking members of the Commonwealth. That's what I'm really waiting for, along with who gets Rick's death scene. He was assassinated like he was MLK.
Yeah. So my one little to add to that is that when you talk about the police brutality, it is a service that AMC is going to have to really cater to make sure they do both the comic book fans correct, the television shows, and just because of the social ramifications there, that should be very interesting. What issues? I've never seen that.
This is 180. This is the start of the riot.
Oh. That's a beautiful cover too. Yeah, I don't know if I've seen that.
Yeah, brutality happens. Then Michonne and her daughter come in and try to stop it, and then everybody else in the Commonwealth was protesting because they thought Michonne was not for them. I'm not sure who's going to be in the show. Maybe what's her name? Magda's girlfriend. Oh my god. I just know the actress name, but Yumiko, damn it.
Oh, Yumiko, yeah.
Yeah, it might happen to Yumiko because on the show she's a lawyer and on the comic Michonne's a lawyer. So I think they're going to swap those two out. But that happens, and then next they have a trial at their court, and they found the police guard not guilty, and then a whole full-blown riot happens.
Yeah, that here's my sign off for this. I've been a Walking Dead fan since obviously the beginning of season 1, and every time something with Walking Dead comes out, people always like to say, "Oh, I don't watch it no more." Blah 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 blah. And the fans, we react appropriately. I already can see this now that if they go anywhere down this route, this is just going to be another reason people are like, "Oh, I don't like her. That was too political." But I have faith because the source material is so good, and even the variations and how they, creating variations from the source material to television has been good. And they've just been hitting on all cylinders, and I think the right people are in place for them to have been together this long, and it gives a lot of trust with one another. And I am ready for them to tackle these type of things because this is our reality, and it's no reason to get away from it. They can do it right, and it's just a matter of fact, not even just that, the proper representation is within the cast as well too. So you can believe that there's going to be a lot of trust, consultation. I'm pretty sure Deny will be hit up in order of some of these scenes as well too. So like nothing to worry about there, but that's going to be super exciting. Season 11, 24 episodes, October 11th. We got a lot of stuff coming on.
Sorry about that.
Are you good? We got a lot of Walking Dead stuff coming up.
Let me turn this back on. All right.
There you go.
I want to show you a few panels from that issue. It was actually 2 issues this whole thing took place. This is one of the first one. Here we go.
Oh, yeah.
This is the end of that. And let's see here. It's a crazy issue. Oh, this is where it really starts.
Yeah. I'm ready. I'm ready.
When it comes to the show, it's gonna cause a lot of controversy. If they can handle it.
Yeah. I'm excited for it. I definitely am. Okay. Any last reactions and thoughts for the finale and anything to come?
My rating for this one would be 11 out of 10 because this is a great finale. It's making me looking forward to anything that's going to come on the 11th season. I think this finale actually answered all of our questions, even though Virgil being in it made no sense whatsoever. But whatever his story is going to be on the season 11, it should be something to look for.
Yeah. Again, I'm right behind you on this. This is one of my favorite episodes because when it comes down to filmmaking, they nailed it on all cylinders there. As far as being a fan, like you said, they answered all the questions, and I think that they went a untraditional way of how they do finales. This isn't a cliffhanger of after somebody's death or anything of that sort. It was beautifully done, giving a lot of hope, and we see the drama brewing for next season, but we're left at a really humble and hopeful place, looking forward to what's to come instead of us being like devastated by death and what are we going to do? So and I'm really just looking forward to everything involved Walking Dead. A lot of people are upset because the last season's coming, but it's 24 episodes, all good things come to an end, and we have content left and right. Shows, new comics, games, like there's nothing could be, and movies. How we keep forgetting about the movies? So there's really nothing to be upset about here. Just stay on board, and because this is getting better and better to me, and I thought this was a perfect fitting way for the 5-6 month wait for the end of season 10. So it was awesome. It was definitely awesome.
By the way, speaking of comics, before we go, starting next month, they're going to re-release the issues of The Walking Dead, but in color, starting with the first issue. They're going to re-release the first to 193. starting next month in color. I know a lot of people say that this is the first time this happened. This is actually the second time because the 10th anniversary edition of the first issue was released in color. Every issue after that was never released in color. So there's not only that they're going to recolor it, but they're going to fix a lot of the error text in there too.
Okay. Awesome. Well, Julian, thank you so much for kicking it with me, breaking this episode down. All his information is in the description. You definitely want to give him a follow if you are a Walking Dead family. Obviously, if you are in the Walking Dead family and Walking Dead fan, that you gotta already have been, because he's on top of all news, rumors, exclusive interviews, author editorials. I just put those two words together, and so on. But yes, this would conclude our review. We'll be back, obviously, talking Worlds Beyond, Fear the Walking Dead. I definitely got to have my boy back on a lot more stuff to come for sure. So definitely give him a follow, like I said, and stay tuned because a lot more stuff is to come. Thank you for watching our review, folks. Everybody be safe. Wear your damn mask and catch y'all later.
Peace. Such good